This is CBS.
I'm Chris Marrou. The Allies run into resistance in southern Iraq. A murder-suicide here after a man warns it could happen. And we'll begin our series on how to survive a plane crash.
A moderate flood of showers intensifying in South Texas, just south of San Antonio. Good chance of rain again tonight.
I'm Dan Cook. Portland and the Spurs are now in overtime, and we'll check in on the first day of practice ever for the San Antonio Riders.
Those stories and more coming up next on Eyewitness News. Thanks to you, San Antonio's top-rated newscast.
Bank One, the bank that introduced America's first 24-hour banking machine back in the 70s, recently asked its customers what new service they wanted from a bank in the 90s. And while Bank One can't do everything they ask, we will do whatever it takes to please our customers. Within reason.
Now that's 4 times a day until they're gone. Can I do anything else for you?
Sing. You know, Joe Albertson.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Go ahead.
Well,
it's Joe Albertson's supermarket, but the pharmacy department is mine.
At Albertsons, our pharmacists have built quite a reputation as pharmacists. Albertsons, we think like you do.
You're a produce man.
It's the Never Before, Never Again sale at Smith Chevrolet.
Now through Saturday only.
Over 120 new Suburbans and new Cavaliers must be sold.
Now through Saturday at Smith.
Every new Suburban and every new Cavalier below dealer invoice.
Now through Saturday at Smith.
Suburban and Cavalier prices that will not be beaten.
Now through Saturday at Smith.
Over $2.5 million worth of Suburbans and Cavaliers below dealer invoice.
Now through Saturday only.
It's the Never Before, Never Again sale at Smith Chevrolet GO on Broadway. Don't miss it.
Cheers and Cosby, tonight on KENS TV.
Eyewitness News, San Antonio's top-rated satellite newscast.
Good evening. Apparently some soldiers in the Iraqi army want to fight tonight. Hundreds of tanks from the Army's 7th Corps have met the Iraqi Republican Guard in what one Pentagon source called the largest armored attack since World War II. Resistance is supposed to be stiff. Army troops have defeated one Iraqi division west of Kuwait, then took on another, while the Republican Guard was setting up new defensive lines west of the city of Basra in southern Iraq. Meanwhile, today, 100 Iraqi tanks were destroyed as the U.S. Marines advanced on Kuwait City. While the fighting continued around Kuwait City and in southern Iraq, military officials described the Iraqi army as in full retreat, but that didn't mean the Allies would let them off easy.
The war is not over, and we're going to continue to attack and attack and attack.
Earlier today, Baghdad radio broadcast a message by Saddam Hussein saying that he had ordered a withdrawal from Kuwait, telling his soldiers that they had faced the whole world. The president's reaction to that?
We will not attack unarmed soldiers in retreat. We have no choice but to consider retreating combat units as a threat and respond accordingly. Anything else would risk additional United States and coalition casualties.
In Moscow, Soviet President Gorbachev said the withdrawal should satisfy all interested parties and called for a ceasefire by the United Nations. In the U.S. Capitol, one senator summed up the feeling of most Americans.
It is also time to send a signal to Moscow. It's time for you to butt out. We don't need any more free advice. We thank you for your initial efforts, but let's face it, you haven't risked a single life or a single ruble in this conflict.
CBS News was first into Kuwait City today, well ahead of almost all military units, and found that the Iraqi occupiers were gone, leaving only Kuwaiti citizens overjoyed at the prospect of freedom and a longer life. Just outside the city, oil wells continued to burn. High-altitude photos showed some 600 fires at night and smoke obscuring Kuwait during the day. U.S. intelligence officers said it was deliberate.
The vast majority of the fires were caused by Iraqi forces. Not only do we have physical evidence, but we have captured documents now that indicates that their instructions were to destroy the oil fields. 2 instructions: inflict maximum casualties and as a part of that also to destroy the oil fields.
But generally there was no resistance. Iraqis came out of their bunkers and, fearing that the Americans might shoot them, kissed the feet of embarrassed soldiers. CBS newsman Richard Threlkeld, who accompanied Egyptian troops, has more on the more than 30,000 Iraqi soldiers who have become prisoners of war.
They emerge from the desert mist like ghosts ahead of the lead elements of Egyptian armor, first a few and then whole platoons. Iraq's frontline soldiers coming out of their trenches and surrendering without even firing a shot. They're surrounded and ordered to kneel at gunpoint. You can see the terror in their eyes. Oh, God, they're going to kill us now. And then relief when they realize they will not die, and their cries of salam, salam, peace, peace, will be heard. A moment ago, they were enemies, these Egyptians and these Iraqis. Now, though, when it's over, victor and vanquished together chant Allahu Akbar, God is great. These Iraqis would rather surrender to the Egyptians than to the American army. The Americans treat their prisoners well, of course, but the Iraqis don't know that. And the Egyptians are, after all, fellow Arabs, fellow Muslims. Why do they surrender? Because they say they are tired of war, tired of the American bombs, and because they're desperately hungry and thirsty. Their officers deserted them, they say, the moment the Allied attack began. And it's apparent just how hungry and tired and dispirited they are. For most, this is the first food and drink they've had in days. They're told they'll be well treated, fed and clothed and cared for, until, no doubt, in a not-too-distant future, they'll be sent home to an Iraqi nation just as destitute as these soldiers. But the weapons they carried will not go with them. And at last it sinks in. They really have finally survived this war. They really are going to live. A moment that's more than enough to make grown men cry. Richard Threlkeld with the Egyptian Army inside Kuwait.
Tonight came word that Iraqi troops retreating toward Iraq have taken thousands of Kuwaitis with them, holding them as hostages, although the U.S. military cannot confirm that. An overwhelming number of Eyewitness News viewers apparently believe that Allied forces should continue to fight until Saddam Hussein is forced out of power. On Eyewitness News at 5 and 6, we ask viewers to call in to find out how far Allied forces should go before ending the war. 18% said Allied forces should stop at the Kuwait border. They should not follow the Iraqi forces deep into Iraq. But 82% said we should go all the way, that Allied forces should continue pounding Iraq until Saddam Hussein is totally defeated, until he is removed as the leader of Iraq. A San Antonio family with a loved one on the front lines is celebrating. Since the war started, the Robles family has kept a constant vigil in front of their TV set. After hearing recent reports from the Mideast, they're confident the war will end soon. 33-year-old Tomas Robles is an Army soldier who is on the front lines over there in the Persian Gulf.
Nothing's gonna, be as terrible as we thought when it first started. We're, almost over it, and I just feel that everything's gonna come out just perfect.
Of course, this story is repeated at a lot of places here in San Antonio. Mother Stella Robles wants her son home safe, but not until the U.S. has claimed a victory. The family says they want Tomas to keep fighting until the Iraqis lay down their arms and surrender. Since ground fighting in the Middle East war broke out, the demand for blood to hospitals overseas has been high, and Wilford Hall Medical Center is hoping to remedy the situation. The hospital is holding a blood drive from 7 a.m. until 3 tomorrow afternoon. Wilford Hall Hospital staff hoping to collect some 350 units of blood. They say they collected half that amount today. Anyone with access to Lackland Air Force Base is eligible to donate blood. A prayer service canceled because of threats has been rescheduled. Organizers of a service show a flag that will fly during the event. The yellow is for troops. The white symbolizes peace. The Fellowship of Reconciliation had planned the service for Sunday. They wanted to pray for peace and for everyone in the Mideast, including the Iraqis. The group canceled the event, though, after they received some threats.
Well, I don't think it's hard to understand that the threat came because emotions are very high and very deep, and I think it's sort of a microcosm of what the whole world situation is like. People, what other people do angers people if it doesn't go along with the way that they believe in things.
Rattle insists the service is not an anti-war protest. It starts at 6 p.m. this Friday at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church.
Eyewitness News is sponsored in part by the law offices of Pat Maloney.
When we come back, 30 years of marriage comes to a deadly end today on the city's south side, and a San Antonio police officer sentenced on a drunk driving charge.
The men who wrote the Constitution believed passionately in freedom and liberty. Their aim was to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our children. The Constitution has done that for more than 200 years. This historic document is one of the world's great treasures. Cherish it. At the law offices of Pat Maloney, we salute the spirit to be free.
In about an hour, you can get a divine new look. A refined, designed, mighty fine new look. In about an hour, get the right look for you at EyeMasters Optical Superstore. With eyewear specialists to help, and our in-store lab to have your glasses ready in about an hour. For the look you've been looking for, in about an hour, get a better look at EyeMasters. Buy one, get one free, or we'll pay up to $40 for your eye exam.
A 31-year veteran of the San Antonio Police Department pleaded no contest to a charge of driving while intoxicated today and was ordered to spend the next 30 days confined to his house. Harvey Spires was charged after the car he was driving struck two boys walking their horses on a South Bexar County road last September. 16-year-old Thomas Cervantes and a friend were injured. Spires will now have to pay the teenagers' medical bills.
The operation that they said they were going to give him would probably run around $30,000. And, you know, that's all I know for right now. You know, we have to get back to the doctors and to find out what the situation is.
Spires was also given 2 years probation in order to serve 200 hours of community service. Spires has been on suspension from the police department but has decided not to return, so he will retire at the end of the week. The San Antonio Police Department and the FBI are joining forces tonight to catch a man suspected of robbing 3 local banks. The robber's last target was the NCNB Bank in the 14,000 block of Nacogdoches. Just before 2 this afternoon, the man held up the bank and fled on foot with an undetermined amount of cash. He's described as black, in his 20s or 30s, and about 5 feet 8 inches tall. Area lawmen are busy arresting suspected drug offenders tonight in what may be one of the city's last major drug roundups. Police have arrested at least 65 of the 150 people indicted on various drug charges so far. Officials say this roundup will be one of the last because from now on, law officers will pick up suspects when the indictments are handed down. They hope that'll prevent a backlog of cases.
We're taking steps to ensure we don't have that sort of backlog in the future. We're going to take the cases. We're not going to bunch them. We're going to take them as we can, as quickly as we can, and move on a continual basis against the drug dealers in this community.
Hilbig says tonight's roundup will help to clear up the current backlog of cases. He hopes to have all the cases processed by this summer. Rounding up suspected criminals is no easy task for police. Tonight we'll take you on a raid to show you what the officers face. But Eyewitness wants to know, once the criminal is caught, will he be made to pay for the crime?
Police officers, we have a search warrant. Open the door.
San Antonio police are about to arrest a man who they say has left a trail of victims. They have reports he is armed with a shotgun, so their firearms are drawn.
Police, open up!
Across town, Kevin Koch sits at his dining room table. He is one of those victims. Kevin wanted to invest some money. He saw this newspaper ad for a vending machine distributorship. He called the number, met with a man by the name of Dion Clack, and signed a contract. But when Clack started asking for money ahead of the merchandise, Kevin became suspicious and called police.
But I said a guy was scamming me. I was sure he was, and his name was Dion, and the detective said Clack. And I was like, oh, great, you know, and I already had given the guy $500.
But now it's payback time. Police are charging Clack with 2 counts of felony theft resulting from fraudulent sales schemes. He's also charged with vehicle theft. Police say he rents cars, changes the license plates, then sells them. Behind the Victoria Court's apartment where he's arrested, police find a stolen rental car. It's a good bust, but here's the clincher.
In 1988, he was adjudicated on 16 felony counts.
But he plea bargained, got a 7-year sentence, and served only 11.5 months. Police say as soon as he got out, he went right back to work. In his boot, police found $1,400 in cash. What would you like to see happen to Dion Clack and people like him?
Well, we'd like to see them serve a better percentage of the time that the courts are giving them.
One way to do that in this case is to not settle for a plea bargain. Eyewitness wants to know if the new district attorney, Steve Hilbig, should go for it all and make sure this man pays for any crime he has committed. Frank Guerra, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Years of marital problems erupted into gunfire here today, leaving a Southside man and his wife dead. Police found the bodies of 53-year-old Herbie Castoreno and his 49-year-old wife Josephine in their home on West Villaret today. Police say Castoreno shot his wife in the head, then turned the gun on himself. Police found a suicide note at the home, blaming the shooting on marital problems. After being married for more than 30 years, the couple had recently separated, then reunited, and had been trying to work things out. Testimony finally underway in the murder trial of a teenage girl who has confessed to killing another teenager. Bexar County Sheriff's investigators say 16-year-old Marty Elaine Schwartz admitted that she shot and killed Lori Ann Forrest in November of 1989. The shooting happened after the girls left a party attended by members of the neo-Nazi Skinheads gang, as well as members from the Psychos gang. It was exactly 6 months ago tonight that San Antonio was in shock over the deaths of two girls who had been kidnapped and murdered. The cases of Heidi Seaman and Erica Boteo are still unsolved. Larry Meyer has more in Part 3 of his series, Alamo City Murder Mysteries.
It was August 26, 1990, when San Antonio's fears turned into tears.
I've just been notified that Heidi's body has been found and that it is a confirmation.
Authorities confirmed the badly decomposed body of 11-year-old Heidi Seaman had been found off a rural road near Wimberley.
Could we get some flashlights out here?
The same day that searchers discovered the body of 7-year-old Erica Boteo stuffed in a drainage line. Weeks of searching for the girls came crashing down in double tragedy. Police quickly arrested 3 suspects in the Erica Boteo case, 17-year-old Roderick Springs, 31-year-old Sherman Bedford, and 31-year-old Kenneth Pope. But within a month, the case had crumbled because of a lack of evidence and a confession that could not be substantiated. Paul Goki was Kenneth Pope's defense attorney.
The police either had the right suspect in custody the first time, but then relied on a confession that was false, that they really should have known was false, the particular detective in charge of this. Or they never had the right suspect, and they let the trail go cold. We're back to square one.
Police Lieutenant Albert Ortiz admits some leads were followed harder than others, but insists all leads were followed. He says the investigation could still be successful.
Some of the players that were involved, both as suspects and as arrested persons, may come to play again.
Unlike the Erica Boteo case, there have been no arrests in connection with the murder of Heidi Seaman. A police investigation continues, as does work here at the Heidi Search Center. Her parents say they're pleased with both, but admit the search for whoever killed Heidi is always on their minds.
I think about it all the time. I wonder, no matter where I am, I wonder if that person is in the same store with me, because I wouldn't even know him if I saw him. I don't think I'll have any peace until he's caught.
I think somewhere along the line, either he will make a mistake, will talk to somebody, or maybe somebody does know something, and they will come forward. You know, I can't imagine how anybody could live with that on their mind, but then I can't imagine how anybody could do it in the first place.
2 homicide detectives are working full-time on the Heidi and Erica cases. One little piece of information, detectives say, could be the key to solving 2 of the most tragic killings the city has ever seen. Larry Meyer, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Up next, San Antonio prepares for the biggest party in the city's history, and Albert, our own party animal.
Yeah, but I'm kind of running out of gas about this time of night. The forecast is calling for more rain. We'll talk about that in a moment.
You used to just get started at this time of night.
I know, but I was 18 at the time.
On the next Inside Edition, it seems like everyone's got their own exercise video.
Everybody calls themselves an exercise expert.
But are they all safe?
Oftentimes, they're doing things and perpetuating myths that are not exactly true.
Contributing editor Dick Butkus gets inside fitness tapes. Plus, the plight of our guardsmen and reserves in the Middle East. How you can help. On the inside, it's a whole different story.
Get the Inside Edition Wednesday at 6:30 on KENS TV.
For 3 years, I suffered with chronic pain, and I was prescribed a variety of medications. Anti-inflammatories, butalbital, ibuprofen, muscle relaxants, pain pills. Finally, I discovered United Chiropractic. If you're in pain, get rid of the pills.
Get help from the doctors at United Chiropractic. See the yellow pages for the United office nearest you. We'll see you today.
For complete news information any time of the day or night, call Eyewitness News Headlines at 524-4600. Then press KENS, a service of Eyewitness News.
Time to circle up the wagons, or at least put the top up.
Well, we got some rain out there. It's not heavy, but if you've got a convertible, you might want to go out and cover it up. It's been developing throughout the last 3 or 4 hours. We're going to get a little wave of rain, then some more tomorrow, and it really probably won't break until Saturday. So be prepared for more of the mold count to increase in your pollen count. It's going to stay like that. As a matter of fact, it's really interesting how in the Middle East it happens to mirror a lot of our weather. They're at the same latitude as we are. Kuwait City is probably half a degree off of our latitude on the Earth. Anyway, Tel Aviv is sitting at 45, 59 with some showers tomorrow. Baghdad, 40 to 63. Kuwait City, 45 to 70. And Riyadh, 50 to 78, all with some scattered showers forecast for Wednesday. So go across the continental United States, you can find 2 frontal boundaries, both of them pushing into the southeast, and that is creating some scattered thunderstorms. The last one finally pushed off of the Keys. Another system cutting through, well, let's say from about Orlando to Tampa, and it continues to produce some shower activity. Subtropical jet stream covers the entire southern part of the country, and that's what plays a good part in the shower activity we're seeing over this part of the U.S. Now up in the Great Lakes, they're getting some more snow again, snow squalls moving across the Great Lakes tonight in the northern plains, so they will see up to 4 to 5 inches of new snow. And in Southern California, they're finally receiving some much-needed rain. They're expecting for the next 2 days, at least, to get some rain. We're picking nothing up on their radar now, but they haven't had rain since July of 1990. They've really been in bad shape. You can see that little line of instability producing rain across South Texas tonight. Some scattered light flurries across the northeast, some scattered rain over Illinois, and of course those showers still moving through parts of southern Florida. This really paints a picture. We put our 3D Texas view into motion for about 18 hours, and as it moves across, you can see the ebb and tide of the cloud cover continuing. You can find some thicker pockets of cloud covers. It moves in with that instability moving across. We have 2 of them, one in New Mexico, a small shortwave that is moving up from about the Laredo-Brownsville area towards us, and that is carrying some rain, not very heavy rain, at the most an inch of rain per hour to 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour, but it's been moving from kind of the southwest to the northeast very slowly at about 10 miles an hour, so do expect some rainfall in the next day or so. 38 and clear to partly cloudy up in the Panhandle, to cloudy, of course, and much warmer temperatures around all this instability and showers. 52 right now. Your forecast when we come back.
For complete weather information anytime, call Weather-Tel at 524-4600. Then press KENS, a service of Eyewitness News and Finkel's Salad Bar and Grill Restaurants.
Not so long ago, young Daniel seemed likely to fail. But today, as a graduating senior, he's most likely to succeed. Teenagers with emotional problems can be helped and go on to do something positive. So don't lose hope. If you don't get help at Charter, please get help somewhere.
Doppler 5, we're going to show you somewhat of a time lapse. This is taken at 10:01 tonight. You can see from Eagle Pass to Kennedy, and south of that towards Beeville and Cotulla, some sizable showers about 1 inch per hour. We'll update you then and watch how it jumps. All of a sudden you get a rebuilding of storms north of Cotulla, and they're continuing to move to the east-northeast. It may just skirt southern Bexar County tonight, but the chance of rain jumps up again tomorrow. So we've got cloudy skies out there right now. 51 humidity just about doubled to 50% since 6. Southwest winds now at 6, and the barometer's at 30.29 and rising. 58 to 37, pretty cool this morning. 69 to 45 are your normals, and the records are 91 and 22 for this day. Your forecast says 20% chance of rain. We're expecting most of it to stay south of us at least for a good part of the night. 40 degrees tomorrow, then the chance of rain jumps to 40%. It'll be scattered throughout the afternoon. It's not going to produce hail, but it'll be some good little brief showers. Highs of 60 degrees, southeast winds at about 10 miles an hour. Extended forecast carries a little bit of rain on Thursday and Friday, But Saturday back to partly cloudy, 60 to 80 degrees. It's going to be a very hot, steamy day.
And this is just going to be rain. It's not like thunderstorms or anything.
Scattered little showers. It'll get your attention, but no hail and thunder and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Without a doubt, San Antonio is one of America's favorite party cities, and get ready for the biggest one yet. The Fiesta Commission today announced plans for a massive party to be held April 19th downtown. There will be 5 major events at the party, including parades and top-name entertainers. The party is being held to mark Fiesta's 100th anniversary. Cost of the event, $1 million. But don't worry, the tab is being picked up by private industry. Over 500,000 visitors are expected. And best of all, it'll be free to the public. Still to come, plane crash survival. Would you really know how to make it out alive if the plane you were in crashed and began to burn? We'll have some sound advice when we come back.
Well, just rename the city Party USA. Right under San Antonio.
It would work. There's some initials we'd have to worry about.
That's okay.
Next time on Cheers.
Sam, could I see you in my office privately?
Rebecca will do anything to turn on her boyfriend, Robin.
Sam, I never thought it would come to this.
That's right, Sammy, anything.
All right, class, so you want to learn all about the wonderful art of love, eh?
And class, lesson number 1 calls for a little field trip.
The elevator?
Yeah.
Hey, who's teaching who? Next time on Cheers.
Tuesday night at 10:30.
Good evening, folks. I'm Dan Walters at Performance Nissan Dodge in San Antonio. Just in case you haven't heard, we're the #1 volume Nissan dealer in the entire state of Texas. Now, let me just show you one example of why we're #1. Right now, you can come in and buy a brand new 91 Nissan Stanza, just like this one, folks. Take a look. You pay $158 down or $158 a month. So go ahead, make that short drive or call us on our toll-free number, 1-800-521-NISSAN. Performance Nissan Dodge, I-35 North at Pat Booker Road. You come and see us.
The legendary Masters of Golf. Lee Trevino, Billy Casper, Don January, Chi-Chi Rodriguez, and a field of over 70 players will meet at the Vantage at the Dominion. Monday, March 11th, pro practice. Tuesday, March 12th, the Merrill Lynch shootout. Wednesday and Thursday, March 13th and 14th, the Pro-Am. Friday through Sunday, March 15th through the 17th, the Seniors Tournament. Tickets for the Vantage at the Dominion may be purchased at the tournament box office or at the gate. The Vantage at the Dominion.
Millions of Americans take to the skies every year, but planes do not always arrive at their destinations safely. Tonight, Eyewitness MD Brant Mittler shows us how you can better your chances at surviving a plane crash in part 1 of his series, Plane Survival.
February 1st, 1991. A U.S. air flight lands on top of a commuter aircraft. Most of the passengers in the commercial jet survived the impact. All but one got out of their seats. But an intense fire sweeps through the plane. 22 others perish. The good news is that 67 people survived the crash and fire. 67 people who have learned firsthand the importance of evacuation procedures and are alive today because of them.
People tend to be reading papers and magazines and ordering drinks and stowing luggage. They're doing everything except paying attention to the flight attendant's briefing when they're giving it.
Survival is Charlie Chittum's business. He spends much of his time aboard a mock-up aircraft, instructing others and testing new safety systems. What he has to say should be gospel to anyone flying today.
First thing I do when I get on an aircraft is I go inside the cabin and I immediately count all the seat rows to ever exit in that aircraft. The reason I do this is if we ever had an accident on the aircraft and I couldn't get off of the exit where I'd boarded, I want to make sure I know where the other exits are.
An emergency exit is a quick way to get from a dangerous situation to a less dangerous one and escape the fire that usually follows a crash.
Normally, in an aircraft accident, if you had an external fuel fire, you're going to have about 5 to 10 seconds before the fuselage gets so full of smoke you cannot see your hand in front of your face. Actually, you can withstand temperatures of about 400 degrees for a period of about 2 minutes and still survive. I didn't say you'd be comfortable. I said you can withstand it and survive. As you may notice, the low-level marking system on the floor will give you guidance to get out of the aircraft in the event of a smoke-filled environment inside of the aircraft. You will also notice that with the double aisle of light in this particular mode, when you get to a place where there is an exit, you will have a different color of green. If I was a flight attendant on an aircraft giving you a pre-takeoff briefing, all I would have to do is say, in the unlikely event of an accident, stay between the runway lights, exit at green, do not cross red.
And don't think about crawling. You'll be trampled by others trying to get out. Wear low-cut shoes at all times and try to avoid wearing flammable synthetic clothing.
And they'll also tell you in the briefing to familiarize yourself with the passenger information briefing cards. The information on that card shows you how to open all the exits in an aircraft. It shows you how to deploy the evacuation slides. If you don't familiarize yourself with that card and you're taxiing down the runway and you happen to have an engine explode or something causing a severe fire, it's a bit late to pull that card out and look at it then.
The key to surviving is to improve your odds, and the best way to do that is to take responsibility for learning about the plane you're on. It could save your life. I'm Dr. Brant Mittler, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Dan, up next, the Spurs blaze a trail past Portland. Well, okay, they beat them. Barely.
Past them.
Real thin trail. But it's 2 in a row.
A W is a W.
That's true.
Here it is in detail. Foley's Red Apple Sale.
Foley's opens early tomorrow at 8 a.m. And with 20 to 50% savings throughout the store, there's a lot you'll want to spring for.
Shop early, shop late, but don't hesitate.
You know, you can get a jump on spring at Foley's Red Apple Sale, even before it's sprung.
Foley's Red Apple Sale.
This financial update is brought to you by ABC Pest Control. The finalists are ready. The stage is set. Now, let the competition begin. Saturday, March 16th, KENS TV presents a day and night of rivalries. First beginning Saturday morning at 11, NCAA championships will roll into action. 4 games back-to-back. Then the prettiest girls in town show off their style. But only one will become Miss San Antonio USA 1991. From grit on the court to grace on the stage, you're invited to a day of challenges only on KENS TV.
Dr. Donald H. Masters invites you to attend a free seminar on how the latest dental techniques can help restore the health of your teeth and the beauty of your smile. Call 349-4424.
Come into a participating McDonald's and get a coupon allowing kids 3 to 11 into SeaWorld for just $9.95. It's a grand new season. Don't miss it.
What do you get in Midas' $79 basic brake service? Great value and a job done right. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Quite a little game.
Sliced it rather thin tonight.
Yes.
Now, there was a tight chase right down to the last second of overtime, but the Spurs have now beaten Portland twice in 3 nights. San Antonio won tonight 102-101 in a game that was over just a few minutes ago. Barry Brickman has a report.
Spurs fans were fired up for the rematch with the Portland Trail Blazers, and David Robinson stoked the flames with the pass from Sidney Green and the slam. Sean Elliott will snake his way through here as the Spurs score to take a 19-15 lead to end the first quarter. The Spurs nailed Portland down to just 27 first half. Yes, 27 first half points. That's all, a season low for the Blazers. And from upstairs, one more bucket buster from David Robinson. Okay, let's try one more from Robinson. Again, and here the Spurs go up by 17 points. But then Danny Ainge comes in for Portland, and it was a whole new ball game. Ainge for 3, and back came the Blazers. All the way to a 2-point game with seconds left. That's when Buck Williams grabs a missed 3-pointer, puts it up and in. He's fouled as time expires in the game. Williams has a chance to win the game, but misses the free throw, and it goes into overtime. Now we go to the final seconds of overtime. The game is tied at 101. The shot is up, no good. The rebound fought for. David Robinson is fouled. He has a chance to go to the line and put the Spurs in front. His first free throw will miss, but the second hits and the Spurs take a 1-point lead. Still, Portland now with 2 seconds to go. They get the ball inbounds, but the shot is no good, and the Spurs win a shootout against Portland, 102-101.
Can't get any closer than that. Let's go to the scoreboard now. Well, you know that one. Portland lost to the Spurs. All righty, Cleveland slipped by Detroit 106-103. Pistons, third straight loss. Milwaukee beat Miami 119-106. New Jersey clobbered Indiana 129-104. In double overtime, New York beat Washington 112-109. And Dallas was defeated by Minnesota 100-94. Chicago bombed Boston 129-99. And Houston over Denver 129-99. The San Antonio Riders football players got in their first workout today as they began to blend into a team. Time is short for the drills in San Marcos because within 3 weeks, the 56-man, make that 65-man squad, will be cut to just 40 keepers. We'll hear from head coach Mike Riley.
I've always contended that is basically all relative. I think that if the execution of the football is good, it's exciting to watch high school football, college football, professional football of any kind. So I think that, you know, the people that we have here, there'll be a lot of competition for jobs. There are no incumbents. There are no veterans. So, you know, it's basically wide open. We have 65 guys going down to a base roster of 36 plus our 4 Operation Discovery players. So we'll have 40 guys when it's all said and done. So there'll be good quality competition, and every draft pick basically has a chance.
Well, Eddie Knobloch, an old friend and for 18 years a Texas League baseball star, died of a heart attack here this morning. Knobloch, often the league leader in hitting, played with the Houston Buffs, Dallas, Tulsa, Shreveport, and Beaumont. Funeral services will be Friday morning, 10:30, in Selma at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church. We'll take a break, and I'll be right back.
It's savings time at Walgreens. To help reduce gingivitis, an early form of gum disease, use the Waterpik Personal Dental System. Walgreens sale price is just $34.99. And to clean teeth nearly plaque-free, get Inner Plaque Removal Instrument, only $69.99. Enjoy these and other dental care savings this week at Walgreens.
Lose weight with Ultra Slim Fast from Walgreens. The plan is easy, just 2 delicious shakes a day. Give us a week, we'll take off the weight. Specially priced through Saturday at Walgreens.
If your import car or truck has a brake, steering, or suspension problem, you can take it to an import dealer and wait days, or come to Brake Check. We'll fix it right in hours. Whether it's a VW Bug or a Rolls-Royce, no car is foreign to us. For brake, steering, and suspension, they haven't made the car we can't fix. As the leading brake, steering, and suspension specialist since 1968, you can be sure we do it right in any language.
Brake Check. Anything less could cost you more.
Hard times have fallen on one of pro football's greatest legends. Johnny Unitas has filed for bankruptcy. The former Baltimore passing star, who retired in 1974, has been involved in several investment groups. Obviously, one or more made some bad investments. A lot of high school state basketball playoff action tonight, and there were some surprises. Now, the East Central Hornets and Lanier Volks waged a real thriller in a Class 5A area playoff match, but then East Central in white broke it open late. Well, Marcus Banks, who got 25 for East Central. Lanier countered with a layup by Tito Escobedo, but when he tried it again, and he will try it again, he missed. Well, Ray Castillo will jam it in. Castillo finished with 25. East Central advanced with a 99-82 win. We'll go to the high school scoreboard now. East Central over Lanier, as mentioned. Jay beat Seguin 99-68. Class 4A, Gonzales nosed Randolph 59-57. Alamo Heights whipped Pleasanton by 5 points. And a late one just in, Stafford beat Cole 65-63. In college basketball tonight, St. Edwards knocked off St. Edwards knocked off St. Mary's 71-69. But not to worry, the Rattlers already cinched the playoff spot. Incarnate Word beat Mary Hardin Baylor 82-78. Third-ranked Arkansas over Baylor 106-74. Sixth-rated Syracuse beat Villanova 77-63. 22nd Pittsburgh over Boston College 88-76. And 10th-rated Kansas beat Iowa State 88-57. Florida State knocked off 14th-rated Southern Miss 85-83. And this one for you, Chris. 21st-ranked Princeton over Penn 63-56.
You'll laugh when they're in the Final Four.
I'll faint if they're in the Final Four.
Well, so will I. Newsreel's next.
And now, your co-hosts of the Wise Up San Antonio Telefest. Deborah Knapp is fact.
That's true.
Henry Cisneros is fiction.
Have I got a story for you? This Telefest is going to be seen on 5 continents.
Factually, Henry, only in San Antonio on KENS TV.
Everybody gets a free tropical vacation.
No, Henry. Fun trips and merchandise will be auctioned.
But the Telefest does benefit your public library.
Now we agree.
The Wise Up San Antonio Telefest, Sunday, March 3rd at 8 on KENS TV.
If you'd like to listen to Eyewitness News at 6 on the radio, tune into KTSA in San Antonio or KVWG 1280 AM in Pearsall.
Time for a look at tonight's newsreel. Let's tune into our newsreel network to see where our next story is coming from.
I think I'm hearing Philly.
Well, too bad, because we're going to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where the people have been very patriotic during the recent conflict.
Oh, honking their horns, waving flags.
But they can't be any more patriotic than the dogs at the Special Touch Salon. The dogs get things like yellow ribbons in their fur right next to their ears. Don't they fight this sort of treatment, huh?
It's been a whole lot easier than we'd anticipated.
Well, in addition to the standard yellow ribbon, some dogs also get tiny American flags in their hair. Now, at this point, most dogs would say...
Picnic shoulder, I'm going to go home.
But in fact, there's even more. Yes, the Special Touch Salon also puts yellow nail polish on the dog's toes. They shouldn't feel embarrassed. Lots of people have yellow toenail polish.
Including the Florida Attorney General.
Well, don't spread that around. The salon says the extra cost isn't much for dog owners
who have incurred unexpectedly high bills
at other places. But if you're not used to owning a painted poodle, they ask one thing before you bring your dog in.
Please be sure you're strong of heart and stomach, please.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to. That's Eyewitness Newsreel, and that's Eyewitness News. Good night.
Now, Jubilee wouldn't have liked that.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't go for that stuff?
No, probably not.
I don't think Albert can get close enough to his dogs to have anything.
They'll eat the guy who's trying to cut their hair.
Big dogs.
Big dogs.